Hey guys, so today Steve Bruce gave me a call and asked me to pass through the speed shop to take a look at the Evo tree and to show you guys the amount of work and fabrication work that has been done to the Evo tree so that he can better chase down the lower times that he's targeting for, and also to give you guys a look behind the scenes of the amount of work that himself and his team and the team at the speed shop and Robert have been doing fabricating the Evo. So let's go. So just tell me about the car, tell me the transformation of how it went from when you do the last 6-second pass and what you was looking to do last year, but obviously COVID happened, and what you looking to do now and the changes that you made.
Basically, last year the car gave me some challenges. But actually, I got a 7.62 pass, but then the car wasn't level. So this year I decided to upgrade the car, get some good work due to it, which is all fabrication work, because last year I was running a lot of hoses. I had a lot of problems with the car, because the fabrication wasn't right. So this year I decided to take the car to another level. Looking to really hit the 1,000 brick mark first and try to tune, and then we try to get some things over it. But then I decided to get the car do the right way, so I come to this speed shop, which is Robert. Make sure you saw him did good work with the black car before. And when the car first came in, it was like, how this is gonna start, to be honest. And I tell Robert, boy, leave it all to you. I never used to come by too regular, but Robert was working all the time. And this is how far we get in the car. A lot of work put into the car is, and it ain't as easy as I thought, because to be first, when Robert came to me in town, it was just the front of the car. I tell you, just give me a rough idea. And we actually start like, it's a moose boy. This here was like, how it can happen, because we was lost. Which was getting the radiator to fit, tank to fit, and exhaust to fit. So this is where we at today. Thanks to the speed shop, we weren't around for them. The other guys not coming through. And my challenges here for the car is to get a low 6, 5, if it's possible, depends on the track, the course of the track. But to get the car reliable, I can enjoy driving every day, having no problems. Let's see where we go from there.
Cool. Anything specific you want to point out on the car that you change or that you think is a major step up?
Before this change of plan with the car was running water. Now we go on fully concrete block. That's water to the head, bigger intake, bigger turbo. Another level for the car, and we go from there to see what happens again. But basically, a lot of changes have been done. Still waiting for the shifter and what's not. But Barry will order those additional things now, but it's just because of the COVID, I think. And I'm looking to do well with the car, leaving it all to the track. Now, I know there's a lot more guys up there with a lot more power too. I wish all them guys good luck too. It's like Fisherman and Barry and Bali. Got a lot of good projects, but I guess at the end of the day, the fabrication is what it's all about, to get the car reliable and got nothing bursting and the leaks and this breaking off. So that's my target this year with the car, to get reliable and look interesting. And thanks to Speed Shot and Robert to put in this great effort in. As I tell the guys, cost may not sound high, but at the end of the day, it's worth it. I mean, you guys ain't here to say, but if you all really see this car from the beginning, it was like, it was puzzled. I actually just send pictures to Robert, and Robert just told me I got covered. Because we didn't know to start. That's the truth. But my target with the car is the 1,000 brake car. If I get it, 900, whatever. But to do some good things, low 6, 5, 9. But I know the surface and what's not, but I ain't going back with the car from here, keeping aggressing the car all the time. Hopefully, everything's gonna work out for us guys, and then we can plan that to go down to Guyana, or that would be my target with the car.
Yeah, because I know for sure that a lot of the other territories have sent out invitations in the past. They perform at a very high level, but people don't understand that there are few sleeping animals in Barbados that can actually travel and compete competitively. And you are one of the persons in that higher end bracket that would definitely for sure get the guys around for the money. So how you feel this project after putting in the effort and the money and the time and the energy, how do you feel about it doing what you want it to do?
I feel good. I feel good because as I say, this car come a long way. As everybody know this car come a long way.
I was saying so when I saw it. I was like, whoa.
And up to the day before I tell Robert, I ain't turning back now. Hey, just want it to be what it is, what I expect over it, get what I want, and to be reliable. I need to be reliable, got power, so we could have some fun. We could go represent Barbados. Three guys come together, say X-Way, because there's a lot of power there. I mean, might want to doing it. I tell you, might want to doing it. A lot of power there.
Yeah, we know this. We know this. Any specific persons in your bracket that you have what we would call fighting words for?
I got fighting words for Robert, but I see step back don't always at it. I mean, I watch back some videos. You know where he had the white car. All back today, but well, you was beat me all the time with 4 stars, but that's dumb.
Listen. No. Let me come in for a camera for this one.
Challenges because
I ain't beat he because of the 4 stars. He get nervous because he like next to me and he mischanged, okay? That's why I win. So let me clarify that there now.
But by the way though, as you say, you know, that group gonna be pretty interesting. I mean, we got a lot of guys over there. We got Bali, we got Rico, the other black, and who that 5. I just hear me Mongoose Bread. America, Russian.
You got Saul.
On the back burner. The 6-second bracket gonna be interesting, but I still feel the 7-second bracket gonna be better because we guys gonna be looking at a target too. Picture me, yes, you want your target, but I think we could also detune the cars and have some fun. I think make a change because that 6-second bracket. You know things can happen to achieve what you want. Yeah,
your cars become very fragile when you get past a certain point.
But I know my hands full. I know my hands still full. Don't mind what you're doing. I know my hands full and people still doing what you're doing or doing more.
True. Well, you ain't got to worry about me, so at least that's one hurdle. But for sure, I see everybody putting in a lot of emphasis into these cars. How do you feel about the contenders now of the Hondas joining the 4-wheel drive conversation? Because, you know, Honda was always a front-wheel drive situation. But, you know, now you're going into a whole different realm now where the Hondas now actually 4-wheel drive. How you feel about that?
Well, that's a big challenge. Lightweight, Honda's made a lot of boost. Less boost, a lot of power. Traction maybe a lot better on the Honda. So we saw it go. We got Bali to start with. Robert can easily come in. Still got to watch this front-wheel drive car because this big truck got a lot of tricks too. So yeah. I think our big challenge though really going to be too, it's going to be the track. Right, well, the guys have got the power. And then getting the cars to left, get the dial in and think properly.
Well, my input on it is that over the years with the track has not been prepared for drags. But we have been extracting some amazing times out of the cars with a non-track prep track. So for me, looking at things from that light, I believe going on a prep surface now, we may have the upper hand or fellas that may have prep tracks. Right. How you feel about that?
I feel good about that, as I tell you, and that's the reason that I taking the car to this level. So that anytime we get an invitation, we will look good to go down and represent ourselves. Right? And I know we have a lot of guys that can join us. Right? We know all the corona and thing works now. But things gonna come back in place.
Well, yeah, corona has taken over the world in its own way. And it has set back things, shut down things, put things on a pause. But y'all are using the time wisely at the present moment to get the projects and the cars where y'all want. Mm-hmm. How much more time you think you're going to spend with Robert and the speed shop getting to the marker where you need to be so that then you could get back the car home and do the TLC?
Well, I feel like I got at least maybe the end of the week or mid next week with the speed shop. The work to put in. Basically, after this year, it's just to get back home, tidy up, then get my guy flying, deal with my harness, get my ECU and thing put in. Barry bring the rest of the parts, and I'm hoping maybe looking July, this car should be complete and ready for the dyno.
Good. Next question, and this is the burning question. Burning question is, everybody wants top work. Everybody wants to see results. Everybody wants these fancy wells that Robert and him put down. But people don't understand the level of attention to detail, the materials, the tools, the aspects that all go into it to make it come together cost-wise. What do you have to say to people that quote-unquote cheap?
Well, people, this ain't cheap. This is not a cheap project. A clamp alone, piping alone, that is sold by the foot. The weldings alone, the joints alone, the fabrication alone, the cutting alone. It was amazing what Robert did here. The car wasn't not high pattern, but because of COVID, maybe you had to work with protocols that somebody could at least pass and see what effort Robert had to put in the car. But you here to witness it, Chuck. All the bits and pieces in here. Robert there himself to witness this. I actually leave this car here. There's only now that I come around this car because I can't believe it when I come to this. As I told you all guys, when the first thing I get built for this car, when I was trying to do this car myself, was that swirl pot there, that gas tank. And I couldn't get it fit. And I tell my brother, boy, this is another level. This can call for some serious fabrication. And one day I pick up the phone and call Robert. And Robert said he can pass and look at it. And don't tell a lie, Robert quote me a price. I was fussy. I said, go ahead, Robert, boy, let me get this. Robert called back and tell me, Bruce, boy, this is a challenge, boy. But prices can change eventually. And I said, Robert, this car have to be done. Good work, good product. This have to be done the right way. Go ahead. And I mean, it may sound costly to people, but I feel this just a rough. I never know if this may cost me $5,000 when I finish, and I will pay because they deserve it. The time and the effort that he had to put in it, right?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, this is your passion, and people don't understand that racing and drag racing in particular takes a lot of effort, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of time, a lot of disappointments, a lot of wins sometimes, but majority of the time a lot of losses. How can you explain to the youngsters coming up and the people on the outside that just come on the hill, they talk, they say, oh man, he can't drive, oh he ain't, what we call these sideline racers? What you got to say to them about that?
Well, to be honest, that would be always our challenge, because them was never in it, right? That was never in it. We will always have that challenge, right? So I just try to put the spectators, we have to please the spectators, but the spectators can still insult us, hard or soft. So I know that can be our biggest challenge of it, but I can't pay that anymore now, right? I have to concentrate on getting the car reliable, stable, you understand? And then we will move from there.
Yeah, because over the years, I know for sure, because I know you guys for years, and you had your challenges, you put up, you blow up, you put up, you blow up, this break off, this ring off, this mash up. Going through all those disappointments and frustrations, what made you continue to press on to get to the point that you are now?
Because I know the car always had the potential of doing it. But the fabrication on the car was really poor. And I know this can be a lot of help to the car. And we can go from there and see what we can do. I'm not going backward with this car, because this car always had potentials. Even if it breaks down, this car had the capability of doing things. Right?
So you're happy with the point that you're at now?
Yes, I have a great.
Good. That's what you're talking about.
Great.
Don't worry, we can talk to Robert in a little bit, and he can give me an idea how and what he had to do to get this to this point. But you know me, I usually man that like to stir up the ants next, right? Before we go on to Robert, you are also an owner of a diesel pickup.
A D-Max.
A D-Max in particular.
A D-Max, man.
Right. So you talk to me now, man, about this whole controversy of a car versus diesel.
To be honest, the diesel trucks are working good. Got guys that pretty fast, but
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I respect them. It's work to a point.
Right.
But we can't lose our minds here.
Right. The truck guys will be welcome to come to Dries. We got some trucks that are pretty fast up there. My truck ain't that fast, but fast. But I think what happened to my truck is that I accustomed to my car speed and my truck becomes slow. But I know my truck is a fast truck for right at. Well, I rate my truck in the 2.5 bracket.
Well, I rate your truck because I have seen it accelerate. It works well. And don't get me wrong, I know it run full of a lot of feathers, but the trucks is work good. The trucks is work good. But
you got guys like Scott, Cody, Sergio. I mean, those guys' trucks is going good.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying no. I'm not saying
truck, but I ain't in the bracket with them guys. But I just deal with the CC part of it, so I just rate my truck as in the 2.5. Not that I even want my truck to be a 3-liter.
Yeah, but you will understand the difference between the cars, because at the end of the day, I know diesels have the potential to be very fast.
Yeah, the trucks just produce a lot of torque. Yeah. Basically, when they put my truck on the dyno, they get 2 something and
correct
between that.
And then the boys overseas that just do diesel racing, them things ain't cheap. Them things cost more money than what we doing here right now. But before we had invited the truck guys to the track to come and compete, I even offered to give them their own group, but I was made to understand that they don't want to come.
But I mean, that would help. I was also looking at that would help the group.
Yeah, correct.
The truck guys will really get to see that coming to a car that prepare properly, you go and spend money.
Precisely.
Right. So it's good to have the hype that we can get this thing going.
But everybody got to respect one another.
But everybody got to show respect to one another.
Correct.
Well, to be honest, if my car ain't finished, I can take part in the event with my truck too.
Well, good. You see, that's what I was actually going after, to encourage people to come. Because sometimes you just got to give people some pressure to get the count to hold. But I was told that the guys I actually offered them to come to drives before, but the guys are afraid to race in front of the people on the hill. They don't want the spotlight. They don't want people to see them get beat. So I want you to talk to me and talk to them.
I remember when this car was black, it was supposed to be a 7-second car. And you beat me?
You see? Let me come in for a car. Youngsters. Because the monster is bigger than you, does not mean that you can't catch it off guard.
A win is a win. No matter the horsepower, a win is a win. When you get with them legs, whoever get out, go.
Correct.
Enough things can happen going in that stretch.
And the thing is about the lights too, that I can tell you and you know already, and I can tell anybody, it is come down to strategy. It comes down to being very technical and understanding the lights.
Right.
Because in drag racing, if you don't get that lights pattern and that timing correct, you got the fastest car in the world. But when you look at all the men that professionally race, they always look at what you call the 60 foot. You got to get the car moving.
So it would be good to see some of the truck guys come out, to be honest, because as they say, they got good trucks out there that is putting on good torque. It's just an A3 running. You know what I mean? But don't get all hyped that you could just beat a car just like that. It ain't gonna be that easy.
It don't work like that.
Right, don't work like that. But I ain't discouraging you guys because, as I say, if my car finish, I can be there with my truck to get some fun because I really truly want to see the event up and going again. Even when they had the thing the other night with you guys, I had asked about if you could do like a private test tune and which Robert had invent that, and that still go good.
Correct, and we looking to improve on that forum because at the end of the day, the more tests and tunes the guys want, they can have them. The club is not opposed to providing and helping it to happen because the only way for you to get better is to practice. And Bushy Park is on board with the club and willing to work with the club, so there is no issue in that regard. It's just basically supply on demand.
That's true.
So, thank you very much for saying no and explaining to me a little bit about the project. I can talk to Robert and see what Robert got to tell me, but truck man, I talking to a fast truck man here, and he got respect. Anyhow, moving on. So, Mr. Robert, Mr. Speed Shop, Mr. Bob. Talk to me. You start off with a live, you hype up the thing, you got me on blast, no way here.
I ain't got you blast.
I got Speed Shop now. We reach.
So, but you as a guest, I'm gonna blast you. It wasn't me.
But anyhow, let me get into the specifics of this particular build. Talk to me about how you found this car, the position it was in, the condition it was in, and what you had to do to get to this point, and what you want to do to get to the point you will be happy at when it actually leaves the speed shop.
Okay. Well, first of all, as most people would know, that I take the racing seriously, and I kind of gravitate to people that take it seriously as well. Bruce was always a very avid competitor. It's just he needed some help with certain things in terms of, as he said, he wanted the car to be more reliable. He always had a good project, always had a fast car, but he told me that he wanted to get the reliability of the car, you know, more consistent. So for that, he spoke to me and they said, you know what I would do is I would build the car like how I would build it if it was mine, because the only way to get racing in Barbados, the way that I would like to see it, is, you know, to help one another and to get each person, you know, on board with doing things the right way. Because with doing things the right way, you get reliability and you get consistent times.
Correct.
You don't want that, you know, you come and put no time and then you can't get back there in the time soon.
Yeah, consistency is always key.
Correct.
And over the years, from knowing you, I know you from the time I know getting to racing from when you had the GI Starlet. Yeah, sorry, let me go even further back. GTI. GI Starlet.
A lot of people don't know I had a GTI.
And then you went to the Evo, because you were actually a bike man from before too. So you understand all the variables and aspects and the different levels of speed. So you know how to separate the sheep from the goat per se.
Right.
Tell me how, in your opinion, the evolution of drag racing from then to now, and where you would like to see it.
Boy, that's a funny story. You mentioned about bikes. I had no interest in cars in my younger age. I was all into bikes. But then I find myself liming in the gas station in Canada Hill a couple times, coming home from work or whatever. And then we hear random people just arguing about cars and how fast the cars is. And
that was in life. Those were the times, the good old days.
So it just comes to a point. Obviously, being a person that I always used to tinker with anything automotive, starting with model cars and stuff from my youth. I say, you know what? Let me buy a car and just, you know, let me see what these people are arguing about. So then I bought my first my GTI, Swift GTI, yeah, and then I made my first turbo manifold then.
Yeah, because I remember meeting you back in those times, and I always knew you as a fabricator. You always used to put two and two together and call the fox something and make something work.
Big up
back
to my
then,
man Stoke.
Stoke.
You know what I mean?
See, from in my neighborhood, Stoke.
Yeah.
You go by Stoke, you know, when you go there, you got something, you want to make it work. The man used to cut up things and fabricate things and just find some way to get things work. Yeah. And you were always one of those people that used to push the envelope. Well, honestly, don't care if you blow up or not.
Yeah. From inception, Stoke, honestly, I have to attribute a lot of my skill and meticulous work from him. His personality coming out around him from the Starlet days. He was always the person to push the envelope. So let me get back to the point. I started there and I went to the Starlet, as I told you, and I pushed that a little further. I made I think at that time 320 something at the wheels out to the 1500 engine. From there then I bought my first Evolution. From the Evolution, I kind of spent more time with that car and developed it, because initially, again, I like to take the challenge. At that time, random Hondas used to be fearing these Evolutions on the road, and you know, I said, you know, this
hear that, boys? Random Hondas.
So I started to modify mine, and I got it to a point where I did a 10.4, I think it was, at tickets in the quarter mile, and that is basically where it started for me. From the inception to now, going over to the black car. Well, first Project 7, which is the white Evolution.
Yeah, I remember
7,
the white 7. Yeah,
that was the first car that kind of myself and Jimmy Small, we decided to put together a purpose-built drag car. We had a lot. I had a lot of ideas, and really and truly, Evolution was my street car. So I could not have taken it to the level I wanted to take it to because it was still my daily driver. So we had the Evo Project 7, and that was the first full-up drag car that I had.
Yeah, and that car held its own too. It produced.
Right.
Moving on from that, you always were a person that was very competitive, because I remember back in the day, it always used to be conversation, or let me not say conversation, one of the picking at one of the, you, fur, body. Everybody always wanted to throw it, oh, you do this, or I can do this. And it was always a back and forth. It was a rivalry, but still it was fun at the same time. Tell me about that and how that molded you into the direction that you have gone now.
Well, as Bruce said, there's nothing in racing without rivalry or the shit talk. You know what I mean? The banter. That is what make racing exciting. That is give you the drive to be picking at your car the night before it drags all to morning, tired and, you know, a greasy, you know, because you're looking forward to that excitement where, you know, you could come and put in your best foot forward and see if you can come out on top, so that you got some bragging rights when you're going to chat the next day. So it's very important to have that kind of rivalry. We got a lot of talent in Barbados, as you said, Bali, Fur, Barry, you know, Saul. We got a lot of potential in Barbados, and it's just a matter of, you know, right now the problem for a lot is finances. Yes, you know, things are kind of tough. So hopefully it comes to a point where people can have some extra money to really you know, dip into the racing again, and we can have the kind of turnouts that we had years ago where racing was really exciting. So yeah.
Well, let me ask you, now you talk about financing. I asked Bruce about it a while ago. How do you feel about the fabrication work you do and the amount of money you charge per se for jobs? People have a lot of complaints in the regard that, oh, I want this done, but I feel you overcharging me, or you hitting me too hard. Can you explain a little bit in detail the amount, the cost for buying the equipment to produce the level of work that you are producing one, the materials, etc.? Can you enlighten people to give them an understanding?
Yeah. All right. Well, let me start from the inception, the beginning. When people go and they look on the internet, because that's where it starts, they will go on a website and they will see something costs a certain amount. First is they will look at that amount and they will double it. I think that's what it should cost. They ignore shipping, they ignore duties, everything like that. However, what they tend to forget is we don't have any manufacturing of natural metals or a lot of the stuff that we use for fabrication locally. So when these companies, these big companies do certain items, they are able to, one, they have much cheaper prices because everything they can access in the States, you know. So they start off with cheaper raw materials, and then when they make a product, they will make a jig from it, send it to other factory where they will mass produce it. So, and that, you know what entails a mass production. You have to order a certain amount to be able to do it. In our small demographic in Barbados, those options are not possible. So because of that, people are kind of misinformed of how or what is entailed in the actual development or fabrication as such. So it will more than likely take somebody to come and sit down in the shop and watch inception what is entailed in going through as simple as intercooler piping. It looks simple when it's done, but the amount of cutting, fitting, testing, fitting,
and that
custom,
brings you into a whole other realm. Time. Your time. Time is money.
TIG welding is expensive. I don't think a lot of people understand. A ball of gas, $500. You know, the machines, $2,000 and up, and it takes a lot of time invested in the actual art of welding to look presentable. So, I mean, people might look and say, oh yeah, it looks simple, but they don't know what is entailed in the actual, the ideas that went into actually bringing this to light from without even a plan, you know, and having the vision to get it where it is right now. So, hopefully, if I am able to get some, you know, it's like camera equipment, and I could kind of have some lives while I'm working. You know, it's COVID now, so really and truly not working as such. But when things ease up, I could implement that so somebody, you know, the masses, the newer generation could kind of understand and see what is entailed in what it takes to fabricate something.
It's true, because a lot of people don't understand what we do. Drag racing, building cars is something you're gonna love. If you don't love it, you can get frustrated real fast.
Yeah,
for you,
definitely.
Working on this project for Bruce and trying to produce the level and quality of work that you would do for yourself. Talk me through that whole process.
Well, as I said, anybody that comes to get work done, I do it to the best of my ability. Like if I was doing it for myself, because I am passionate about what I do. So yeah, you know, I would give my best efforts on doing work. Plus, I mean, for having a reliable, I know how not having a reliable car could kind of put a dampening on a lot of people, because I've seen a lot of people give up because of cars that were unreliable, and it kind of frustrated them. So Bruce, as I told you, was always a strong contender. He was always a good person, always willing to help at the track, don't care who he is, and he's passionate about racing. So I was happy that he had other options. I was happy that he came to Speed Shop to get the work done. I hope that when it's finished, that he is satisfied with the job and able to produce the times that he really deserves to have. Alright, as Bruce told me he wanted the car to be a float drop car, I had made the suggestion to have it to be a quick disconnect front, so that servicing or if you have to pull out the engine quickly, you know, it can happen with just disconnecting the front and just, you know, driving it out. So we decided to go that route. So I cut the whole front section off and made a tubular front. So when it's all done, he will be able to disconnect the front of the car, which includes the fuel cell, intercooler, front support, and radiator, completely off the car, and it would just be the pump. The engine would just be available to have full access.
Oh, so it's all in one piece. You just take off your bumper and then everything else is come off together.
Yes. Once he disconnects the 4 bolts on these 2 sides of the chassis and the cross member, the whole front of the car will be able to, obviously, it'll be heavy, pull off the whole front of the car.
Okay, so besides doing that work, what else are you doing to the car? Because I see a fiddling here with the wastegate, piping, and the exhaust. Explain to me a little bit in detail for the viewers what you are doing.
Okay, well, first I did the fuel cell. That was the first thing I did on the car before he decided that he wanted me to do the full fabrication. So it was a cell, pretty much everything to have the car being able to function. Did the up pipe, we're going to fabricate the wastegate up pipe, intercooler piping. The intercooler was side exit. I had to fabricate 2 end tanks to make it rear exit, to make the piping shorter and seamless. The radiator was also fabricated to be in this position to kind of balance out the weight of the car and utilize the space that was available here. So it's all the intercooler piping, all of these front support, all the welding front, and the cross member and stuff like that.
Okay, so with all the work that you're putting into the car now, what do you see in the future, as in gains and progress for Bruce with the car? How much potential you think it has, and what you think it is going to be capable of doing after, obviously, the stuff that you have done to make it more reliable and actually more comfortable to work on?
Right. This is a full transformation. He has gone bigger in pretty much everything.
Oh, he gone all up, but everything. He take off all the boxes.
Yeah. So once the car is the wiring is done, and he has a good tuner, which he said, the guy that he has his tuner, once he's able to get a good tune, and obviously the car will make a lot of power. I don't doubt that. Power is really the easiest thing to make right now, but it is getting it to the ground. We don't have a prep track, so that would be the only challenge, but I think that the car is definitely a 5-second contender. It's already been low 6s, so with the other work that is done now, and the fact that it could go around, you'll be able to have more time to really get the car dialed in as you want it to, and have it as a consistent 5-second car. I think that's the goal for the car, to have it in the 5s.
Alright, so for persons out there who might be interested in getting fabrication work done, what would you say to them? Because you're a shop that obviously does fabrication work. You do almost pretty much everything, engine building, etc. But you yourself are a competitor in the game, and you're also preparing your cars and your teammates and your customers. So for the average man that might be an opponent and wanting something done, how would you operate out?
Generally, to be honest, with the shop car, which is Ivor, is the black Evo, I do not go to sleep on that car. It's always a work in progress, and just because there's no drags doesn't mean that I go to sleep. I always trying to get things, always reviewing logs, always trying to get the car to get on the track better. So generally I will have that car ready long in advance. It actually is just sitting there ready to race as we speak. So anybody else want work to be done, just don't wait last minute, I would say.
You'll be willing to
Of course, I am not partial to helping anybody, because at the end of the day, if Speed Shop got the only reliable car who I can race against, so so
fair enough.
At the end of the day, like, anybody that want work done, the shop is open to anybody that, competitor or not. So at the end of the day, it will still be able to fly the Speed Shop flag somewhat, and I'll be part of the success of the car.
Fair enough, by extension. Alright. Thanks very much, Robert, for going into a little bit of detail of the work that you do. I can just take a little browse on the car and everybody see the little secrets and see what bro's hiding. See if he got an ball down the back or something. and we can keep it moving.
No problem.
That's the good to Silent, who just did a good project there for Brown with the Pulsar, the 4-wheel drive. Brown, I want you to know that I got my son Justin there, and he's still coming against and help. And also the Pulsar had some fabrication work done here with the cage and what's not. So looking forward to do some good action with me and my son this year coming. Next year, hopefully, once everything goes well. But big up to all the other shops with there, Silent. All the other shops, I don't know all the names, but Silent doing good work there also, because you got a Pulsar now that is an Evo.
Crossbreed. And before I forget, if you guys are liking the content, liking what you're seeing, just hit me up and let me know, and I will continue. And maybe we could do a shop chat series. So let's see how it goes. Later.